Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 with my continuing playtest of Hearts of Iron 3 Black Ice with Third Reich Events. Excuse me. And we're looking at to see how the economic changes that I've made to revert back to more of an earlier version of Black Ice, if you will, and how it intermixes with Third Reich Events. So far, other than because I was alt-tabbing in and out, I believe, we have not had any crashes or major bugs, so that's all working good. Well, I would say the Emperor of Japan never had total power. In fact, that was part of the problem in Japan. And I talk a lot about USA Man. Maybe you watched it, my series that I was playing as Japan. Money, rare materials, no. We're going to decline this because they're going to stockpile those rare materials, and when we conquer the Netherlands, we'll just take that. Then we give them money. Okay, that's a little bit of money. Okay. But what I want to see if they're doing is, can we buy another set of rare materials from Russia? Not a lot, just a little, just to get us in the positive. Keep us positive in our trading imbalance. Yeah, and I don't think most Japanese to this day think that he's a god emperor of some sort. They had that belief, and I would say a lot of Japanese still believe that mythology as actual fact at the time of World War II, because a lot of the Japanese populace wasn't very well educated, shall we say. So a lot of them believed what we might think of as primitive beliefs. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that still believe, and I'm even talking people that believe sort of in Shintoism, but to me, a lot of those, hey, I'm descended from, Zeus or something, and actually believe that you're descended from a Greek god, Greek or Roman god or something. If you still believe that today, I have a little bit of problems with your understanding of how the world works. Not just that you have different religious beliefs than I do, but that there's actual God and you're somehow descended from him. You're not there. You might believe there's a God, that there's gods other than the standard Christian/Jewish God. That's one thing. But you're actually that you or somebody else is actually descended from them. I've got a problem with that. Okay, small warship ASW. Okay, yeah, that's 39. That's way too far ahead. I've got little problems with people who believe that they're descendants of actual... Oh, what else is bad? Oh, I thought I stopped that. No, I guess I didn't. There we go. Probably clicked it one too many times. Well, there's pagans, and that's one thing. If you believe in paganism that there are other gods or gods, okay, that's your right to believe. I mean, it's your right to believe whatever, but if you actually believe that somebody is an actual descendant of a god, yeah. Oh, I've been told that I'm a descendant of Adonis. Yeah, and I know you were just kidding me before I read that, or you said that. Yeah. Let's look at, what is it? No, that's, oh, I forget which one was that? We can look here. Oh, cavalry, yeah, okay, yeah, that's, we still want cavalry exploitation to continue. One more level of it. Well, yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah, a lot of people believe that. Boy, I wasn't thinking of that one coming. Actually, yeah, they believe in that. Well, I believe in Jesus. I don't believe Jesus was God. In that sense, so there's a little... Yeah, I wasn't quite seeing that one coming. See, well, I don't believe Jesus was God. I I'm not going to go too detailed into my thoughts have changed on that over time as I think about it. I do believe he is at minimum divinely inspired. So yeah, but I am not. Don't believe in the Nicene Creed and the Holy Trinity. I don't know where they get that Holy Ghost thing from, but yeah. As you can tell, I have sort of thought about some of this, but I didn't quite see that. But then again, no one else is running around today claiming that they're descended from Jesus. At least I hope not. Yeah, I know the whole Merovingian Empire and kings and all that stuff. Yeah, okay. Well, do we have more capital? Yeah, we'll do capital damage control. Keep our ships from sinking that get shot. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, I'm not talking about drunk people. Not Adonis, no. I think that was oh boy, no, it was not Euripides. It was no, somebody else. Maybe somebody can remind me or remind the jackal. Oh, what? Yeah, Oedipus. Yes, that's it. Oedipus. That's what I was looking for. Oedipus. Yes, that's it. But he wasn't a god or anything. That was a weird sort of story. Yeah, is that they still don't recognize the. Yeah, that's part of the problem with Japan, and there's become a lots of revisionism in Japan that wants to deny that happened. Okay, so yes, the Eighth Party Congress. Yeah, I'm not even worried whether what you thought of me. I guess pie lamp is maybe wait how you pronounce that, but yeah, no, there's a lot of people, and I know people that believe Jesus is God. Nah, I'm a monotheist. I believe there's only one God, or at least one creator, God, being, thing, however you want to say it. I'm not being, by saying thing, I'm not being disrespectful. Just don't know that it has a gender, like a he or him or her or whatever. Okay, we're gonna make the offer to the Romanians to come on board with us. They say no, and it's coded. They always say no. Now, if there was a human player playing Romania, they could say yes, but the AI is programmed to say no, if you will, or the event is set up so that they say no. We'll just add that there. I think many of, oh, well, we could add one here where we are focusing our industrial development. Okay, well, we're going to be having to do air defend this area, so we might as well add a few more. We'll develop the Oder River a little bit more. A few more factories there. We're starting to see some more of these. Let's see, outskirts of Berlin. Just sort of like where we might do industrial development. Okay, so that will increase our industry. Let's move these to the top. Yeah, that should be good. Even though some of the ones that are more done, you want the ones that are more done to come on first, but I don't think we're going to push too deep into the... I think most recognize Jesus as, yeah, well, see, as I don't, obviously I don't know the nature of Jesus, but the idea that he is God, and there's Son of God, which if we take it sort of, I'm taking that comment sort of elastically, not literal. I don't take it as literal, like Zeus impregnating a woman. I don't quite do it that way, as in biological sense, but I do believe he is strong stuff there. And again, I can't point to a particular religion or particular thing, and I'm not going to go into details, and it change over time. But or as I think about it, but yeah, is a very important person and has, if anything, channeling God's powers as opposed to his God himself or another God. So yeah, but yeah, well, Jews they disagree on multiple levels, but some of the levels is they just believe that he's not the Messiah. Well, okay, the Romanians say no. Oh, NU instead of NO. Okay, I think I got that, as in their version of Latin, referring to the Holy Trinity. Oh, I was. Yeah, well, the Holy Trinity, but there's also the Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit, is depending on how you translate that. Or we give them money for rare materials. Okay. Definitely no. Okay. Trying to build up my money reserves. Yes. Okay, military police. Is that the one that's inefficient? Well, submarine crew berthing. We'll look at that too. I think military police is here. No, it's... It'll be the last one I click on, but that's just because I'm stopping looking for it. Okay, we'll stop that for now. We're not yet into 37, but we are getting close. And submarine crew berthing, that's right. We want to stop that. We're going to have our submarines relatively well developed, if not the best. I guess we want to do that. Well, we could do more research, so we might as well. Build cost, but hull strength goes up. Okay. Energy, sure, you can have some energy. No, it doesn't bring us much, but better than not having it, and we have plenty of coal. Building up our steel reserves, good. That's trickling down only a little bit. We do want to build that up more, but yes, you can have fuel. No, I don't want to do small trades, long range overseas if I can help it. If I were to deploy these, it's both good and bad. Good is that they would be upgrading to whatever the latest current element or tech that they would have. And yes, the bad element of that is that they would take up more of the upgrades. The other bad element is the larger your military force, the more consumer goods you need. Now, okay, we're just right here on the edge again. So let's expand our industry some more. Let's develop some more of the river bank here. Yes, this is just sort of more for immersion purposes that we would build, spreading it out, trying to keep it into the east along the rivers. Oh, we could put some over here. If the Soviet Union is either heavily bombing us or invading our territories, we're in so much hurt already. It doesn't really matter anymore. No, let's move all these down because I do want them sort of at the bottom, where we can be doing fairly well, but having Americans or British or somebody bombing us from England, that's a different matter. The Soviets generally don't have many heavy bombers. They might have a few, but okay, we'll do this. Yes, and I want to see if I can sell. Well, can I sell to the Soviets? No, they don't want to buy that. Soviet Union, no. Okay, let's USA. They don't have money right now. Well, who has money that we might be able to sell to? So I know they don't need it, but do they want to buy it? 'Cause sometimes, if they don't have too much, they'd be willing to buy just a stockpile because they have excess money. Well, can we buy them or sell them? No. Try the Soviet Union. Hungary. Okay, they have money. They need some supplies. Can we sell them a little bit? No. Okay, maybe that wasn't. Well, let's see if Canada. Oh, very likely. Okay, good. Okay, they got 13. They need 3. So, well, let's do this. We'll see if they'll buy some. See if the Dutch will buy some of our products. Okay, good. Okay, they're produce. They got 11. How much do they need? Oh, a lot. Okay. Nope, that's too much. Yeah. Come down. Let's go to 10.85. Yes. Okay, hopefully that will be good. I can't imagine right now them even. I think one of the biggest insider Democratic war room trying to figure stuff out is how do we turn down what excuse do we use to turn down any sort of debate with Trump and Biden? I can't imagine them letting that happen. I may be wrong, but I can't imagine them letting it happen. Oh, they're going to go mental, and I think he's going to win. For whatever, and Trump hasn't been perfect on this pandemic thing, but nobody's been perfect, and they're often comparing Trump being bad to the perfect, not But I want to see a major world leader that's done a significantly better job than Trump on the pandemic. Not saying there isn't one, but love to hear your thoughts, anybody now or later on YouTube. If you think, and I'm not talking some little country that's easier to deal with, Tibet, we just keep all foreigners out. No, well, Tibet's occupied by China. Well, Nepal or somebody like that. But, some major country that is doing significantly better as a leader. Not just the country's doing better, because sometimes it's easier to handle different countries, but Trump is doing significantly something better than Trump is doing on the pandemic. So people aren't blaming Trump for whatever he did wrong. They may acknowledge it, but they're not like upset with him for not doing perfect on that. So the bad economy that's coming, that's already here and is going to get worse, is not going to be blamed on Trump, because normally if you have a bad economy, the president doesn't win re-election. That's normal in the US politics. But now no one is going to blame Trump's policies for the bad economy. They might blame some people, but they're not going to be blaming him on it. Okay, infiltration tactics. Okay, stormtrooper tactics advance, and that's under blitzkrieg, I think. Okay, we're going to let that continue, but that will open up infiltration, and that infiltration we will do Okay, special treatment steel has advanced. And that's the one under capital ships 2. Capital ships 2. Special treatment steel. We'll stop that. We'll move, in essence, move this down here to do infiltration tactics. And yes, we'll do that. Industrial zone. No, Hillary Clinton isn't going to come back. I just don't think that's happening. I don't know what's going to happen because mental states or other physical, you know, Trump could die of a heart attack. I mean, you know, especially people of that age, resource shortage, ship armor production. Oh God. Okay. All resource shortage, ship armor production. What the hell resource am I short of that's causing this? This is, you know, I like some of the design philosophies of Hearts of Iron 4. One of their philosophies is things like this will be clear to the player. Like coming up and saying, because your steel is less than, you know, 20,000 or something like that, you have a resource shortage. So we know what it is, what is causing this. And so this doesn't have, this is doesn't have like more you know, text or anything telling me this is a decision, this isn't a an event. It doesn't this is not telling me what's going on. Now if this was an event, this is why I like the decision mechanic in that we can, when we choose, we can ignore these or not do these, you know, right now or whatever, without having a big window in front of us. But I would want, because maybe I'm gonna see about, oh God, let me see about writing this down. Okay, just hold on people a second here while I grab a piece of paper. I want to write this down because I want to look and just see what this is. I'm not saying it's all wrong, and yes, there was a see. Okay, I can come back to that and look and see. So I'm not even against the idea of naval build speed being a bit slower for Germany, because there was some of this stuff. So this has something that's more targeted for historical in Germany. Okay, I'm more inclined to leave this. But if this is some magic number up here, I wish I would know better, and then I could know to like keep it over X or under Y or whatever. Okay. So yeah, I don't know what happened. Okay, Jacko, see you later. Good having you here. Yeah, well, see, since they blame Trump for everything, because we chose specials, oh, that could be it. I just want to look at, because I just want to look and see what's going on with that, because we did do this level 1, and I just want to see what they are. I'm not jumping the gun on saying it's terrible or bad, or I don't agree with it. I just want to know it. But see, since they blame Trump for everything, it's cold today, Trump's fault. It's hot today, it's Trump's fault. That's their problem. Not because they blame Trump for doing something wrong, it's because they blame Trump for everything wrong. So now no one believes them whenever they complain about Trump, because they've complained about everything with Trump. And nobody is that bad or wrong all the time. Even people you don't like, they even make some decisions that are good. I'm not saying you need to like Trump or like all the decisions, but he isn't the devil. He just isn't. Yeah, like they did in labor. See, this is the big thing here. I mean, there, like I say, I don't know what's going to happen on the Democrat side once it gets to their whatever they have for a convention. I just don't know what's going to happen. These are the air bases coming in. We just saw flash there, and what they're going to do, whether Biden is going to be it or whether they're going to keep Biden there and just try to go for, you know, Pete Buttigieg or somebody else as a VP pick, that he's sort of the real president. He's going to really be handling everything while, you know, Biden is out there, you know, smelling people's hair or whatever it is that he's going to do. Or what's going to happen. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I really believe Trump is going to win the election. The big question is, as IKB is sort of pointing out, is what's going to happen in the Congress. When Trump got elected, because he got elected, all the Senate and the House were Republican. Because a lot of the people didn't come out and vote, a lot of the Trump supporters didn't come out and vote, and a lot of the people that really hated Trump did come out and vote, the House turned to Democrats. And some of the Senate races were lost, but the Senate is still just barely in Republican hands. Now, in this environment, if there's because 1/3 of the Senate is up at any one time. So, because it's 6 years and it's staggered. So it's not every senator's up now. It's 1/3 of them. So it depends on what senator is up in what state. In California, a Democrat will win. It's just a foregone conclusion right now. The Senate seat. I don't think there's anybody running right now, coming up for Senate. I don't think, or it's been such a non-issue. I don't remember. In California, but so it depends on where the Senate seats are up. But I don't think the Republicans are going to lose the Senate. They may even gain a seat or two. The real question is in the House, where all the seats are up every 2 years. Because Trump's on the ballot, because the Democrats have been nutty, because America's really pissed off at all the impeachment BS. The question is, will they be able to flip that back to being heavily Republican, not just barely Republican, not just sort of barely Democrat, but heavily Republican? If they do that, that's sort of the big thing. If it goes sort of like Labour happened in Britain, which I think it may, I think we'll see a Republican House again. I don't think we're going to see a Democrat Senate. I don't know that we're going to get a supermajority, as in 60 Republican senators, just because of what states are up this time, and I don't really remember exactly the details. But so I that's sort of where the questions in my mind really are, is how far Republican are things going to go? That's security units, which is improved security units, which we're stopping. Cancel that. Good. That would be yes, but yeah, they had the worst year ever. But then again, in my opinion, Labor betrayed every single thing that Labor stood for originally. It betrayed the working people in favor of non-working people. It betrayed British nationalism, or the British people in favor of non-Britons. It became the party of social elites. It became the anti-Semitic party. It just, and we're going to do, so I don't want to, well, no, let's look. I don't think we're having the crashing problem, but no, close this. Let's save it just in case we do have the crashing problem. I think I got rid of the crashing problem there. So let's save it to be on the safe side, so with just a reload time. If we do, let's look at our, okay, I think we want to do, well, there's some good ones. I think my normal is to do the education. Where is it? Ministry, Finance, Imperial, Advanced. Advanced education. Yeah, this one. That's my normal to do. I think we might as well get the research efficiency and leadership early on to then grind through the other effects faster. So yeah, let's do that. Imperial University. That's the one we're going to do. And that's why for TRE, you have Heidelberg University photo from the time period and the time period. Okay, money, supplies, descent. Again, I'm not happy with the money, but the rest, yeah, okay. Descent really, oh, well, it really hit our money bad. Again, is why I don't like what they're doing with the money. That part of it. But part of the descent, well, let's see if we get enough descent. Okay, it's just going to go down anyways. It's just more the idea of needing to put money more back into the civilian economy. Okay. Well, you know, yes, we're going to get that. And, oh, we'll do that. Okay, we want to build this back up before we start. And that gives us more leadership before we start adding more. Trades. Okay, we're going to do, okay, air liaison. We're going to switch over to this and this. And we have a few more slots available. Okay, we want to get to unrestricted submarine warfare, so trade interdiction and okay, but those will be later. I just want to focus on, I'm not sure I want to do fighter interceptors. I know that's a decent research right now, but I just don't even know if I want to do that. I want them to be more tactical bombers or more fighter interceptors. If we can win the air war well enough, it would be better to have them as good tactical bombers. If we are losing the air warfare, they need to be able to defend themselves a little better. Okay, let's look. Yeah, I know you guys are tweeting something or chatting something. I'll get up to that in a moment. Air systems. I don't know. What are we doing? Hello, Exurgent. Good to have you here. Yeah, Corbin, he was a nightmare. Yes. What is it? How do you Key Stammer, whatever? Yeah, however you pronounce that. I don't know anything about him other than that he's finally, okay, we'll do this. Finally come out as basically the labor leader now. Hadn't heard of him before, don't know who or what he thinks about things. Not that I overly care, but yeah. I mean, just I do actually get the old idea of, hey, we represent labor and Tories represent, you know, capital, and we're just, okay, we'll do that. They're just our social group representative, whether we like their policies or not. I get that. I truly do get that, but it's, you know, gone beyond that. In British politics, labor, in my opinion, and God, the liberals who used to be sort of like American Republicans, you know, free market kind of stuff. Because traditionally, sort of American Republicans, especially look at 19th century, you know, Abraham Lincoln, they would align more with the British Liberal Party than with the Conservative Party. But now they're just social justice freaks. I'm not a big fan of Tony Blair, but he was no Jeremy Corbyn. I don't think Tony Blair was a big anti-Semite or a communist either. Yeah. And he didn't like the IRA either. I mean, just how much can we betray Britain? Yeah, yeah, I support the IRA. Not just because he was pictured with IRA types, not just, yeah, I support, the Catholic Irish or something. No, he was like, yeah, IRA, cool. Yeah, no, it's just, he was just just betray everything that I would consider labor. Now, you know, particularly unions back in the 19th century were a good thing because working conditions were just god awful. So you needed some of that. And so I get some of, I truly do. Now, getting it to the latter part of the 20th century, I'm generally against a lot of those as in major power blocks because I think they've overgrown. Okay, we're going to start doing 1937 technology starting now. I know it's still in 36. And there's a minor penalties, but not major ones. So we will start the process with railroads or seaport. Seaport takes longer, so we'll start airports too, but we'll start that now. Yes, the KDP, we will support that, and I'll talk about some of these in more detail. I have talked about in the last series of Germany. We'll talk about them more in coming up. Yeah, so it's... I had a friend who voted in the past. She's passed now, but okay, we're no like money for we're no we're building back up our money reserves, and since we're not pulling down more, yeah. That's what they're sort of calling, I guess, the Corbyn people is Trotskyites. And what's really sort of okay, this is the start of the 4-year plan. Very good. Um, what's really sort of happened is, and it's happened in the American Democratic Party, is a combination of two aspects that have overlapped. And I know this better in America, but it also, I think, holds true in Britain. One, the Democrats and the Labor Party were trying to get as many people to support it as possible. And two, the communists and, radical socialists, whatever you want to call them, not just social welfare people. There's people that are for social welfare. That's different than, core socialists. Have found that in most Western countries, though they cannot win elections, they can get some seats somewhere, especially in a proportional representation system, because they can get 10% of the people to vote for them, or whatever the number varying at different times to vote for them. But even, in most places, they can't get much beyond 10%. So those two things have come together in that. So the Democrats and the Labor, which, labor, at least to my knowledge, and again, I'm not an expert on labor, but labor back like in World War II was not communists. They were looking out after the workers' interests, but weren't trying to nationalize all of the industry. Yes, before Margaret Thatcher denationalized a lot of industry, they had become much more communist, but labor early on isn't for, they're for things like the national healthcare system and some of it, but it wasn't like trying to nationalize everything. At least that's my understanding of labor early on. And the Democrats in America definitely were not for communist or socialism. Yeah, social welfare, and we're not talking about some of the hardcore FDR type supporters. I'm talking about the standard Democrat politician and standard Democrat voter. They're not communists. They're not socialists. But they've tried to maintain in both parties. They've to maintain their majority. They've tried to appeal to the socialists of whatever type, and the socialists have realized that if they can infiltrate and take over the Democrat and Labor parties, they can come to power. And so they're destroying both of these powers. And so, or both of these parties, I should say. And they're going to destroy both of them. And the social justice warriors, they're a whole nother mixed bag of idiocy. And what's so idiotic about it is even more is that they are the quintessential things that we want to make fun of people with. I always do this. I'm even picturing his face right now. The author, the guy who fights in the who writes 1984. Orwell, yeah. Okay, see, I'm not really having Biden moments. I just blank on these things when I try to picture the name or put the name on there. Orwell, his, war is peace. Ignorance is intelligence, or whatever. Some of his, his, saying things that are, you got to believe things that aren't true, trying to convince you of that. The social justice warfare. Gender, anybody's a man. Well, who's the most hateful group in America or in the world? Nudists. Because if your gender is defined by what clothes you wear, if you're a nudist, how can you pretend to be a man? It's, it's biological. So that's why social justice is just craziness. So it's going from maybe in the, hey, we're getting rid of desegregation, or hey, we got to readjust some of the, hiring practices of companies or governments. Okay. A lot of that's good. Now, sometimes even that's going a bit too far, but that kind of social justice, okay. But, it's just the idea that you are pushing unreality. And that's sort of, you got some of that in the Labour, but definitely in the Lib Dems of Britain, the social justice idiocy going on there that is just, incredible. Okay, sorry, hello, Askanov. No, all industries UK were nationalized. Literally, that's not true. It took many years for that to happen, in my understanding, and that was reversed only starting under Margaret Thatcher for sure. And so it took a while, and as many people know, and obviously you can tell by my accent, I am not British, though I did live for about 6 months in Britain, in Scotland to be specific. So, I have, well, that's what they're saying. That's the modern USA, man, as in sex and gender. But that is not. That's the modern thing that they're trying to put. And so in a nudist camp, how can you tell whose gender anybody is? What, by their haircut? Women with short hair are really men? Men with long hair are really women? No. Gender and sex, no. And people, if they want to be transvestites, they want to dress as the opposite sex, I'm fine with that. But don't make me believe that they're men or women. They're just dressing and behaving. That's fine. They can do that. I'm not trying to go after that. But I'm not a hater here. But it's not a real thing. It's not reality. And so, yeah, the whole Lib Dem stuff is just incredibly idiotic. Okay. The 4-year plan. Vayar plan. I don't know. I'm sure I'm butchering that. Okay. You want to do this. Schacht did understand markets better, but Schacht doesn't understand that we're planning to go to a world war. That's the problem. Now, what I've done is before I removed a bunch of natural resources from Germany, which I don't think that happened here. So but you want to do this, okay? This, and it's not just this event. It's not just these effects that will get removed by 1940 or under other conditions, the plus 10% ICs and things. But for whatever the costs, including metal, which good we have a supply of, and lose some manpower though that, and so this is Schacht's rigging. That Schacht there with his eyes closed, probably just blinking as the flash went off for this photo. And there's his signature standing next to Hitler. So Schacht must go. And what this should do is put Goering in charge of the economy here as armaments minister, but that's economic, as well as, notice he's titled Hermann Goering Reichswerk HG for Hermann Goering, and Hermann Goering Oberbefehlhaber der whatever der Luftwaffe. So he's taking two roles. He's still in charge of the Air Force, and he's still there. You do not want to replace him, because if he is no longer in charge here, and I'm going to get rid of. I put it. That was just a test. Let's come back. I really don't think he should be here. Well, Shaq. If we remove him, we can't bring him back. Okay. Well, we're going to remove him anyways. Yeah, we're gonna. No, cancel. I'm gonna leave him here. Well, he's also 5% money. I'd rather have the research efficiency and bonus right now, so we're going to go over to Freck as minister. He was Minister of the Interior, as you see here, Reichsminister des Internum, which could be headed. So it's internal intelligence as opposed to external intelligence is taking priority now. That's what's going on. You don't want to replace Goering, even though he's not that good. You see his money isn't that good. But if you replace Goering, and this is what people have complained about, you lose the 4-year plan. It goes away. Oh, and I don't dare have an Indian lady on. Oh yeah, that Land O'Lakes. That's a stupid thing. I actually like Land O'Lakes products. That's a stupid thing. That was a very respectful, I think, image and marketing and tradition that they're going on, Frogleggers. That is nutty. To start doing political party is why we never had French-style revolutions. Yeah, and you need pressure. You need social pressure of things. Now, I may not always agree with how they're doing it, all this stuff, but you need social pressure, and that is part of why you did have the one sort of civil war of Cromwell. Now, it was more religious-based, I would say, than economics-based revolt in Britain, of course, but you did have that. And since then, the British system has worked well in managing shifts and change. And so, like I was saying, I know Britain fairly well, having lived there. Now, it was many years ago now, but I'm not like a detailed expert compared to somebody like IKB or Exergen or whoever who is British and knows it better than I do. Okay, advanced education investment. I think that's here. Yes, we'll stop that. That's 1940, but that'll pop up a few more. Researchability, and we're now doing 37 technologies. So let's add in airport capabilities. Get that done, and we're getting a lot with 42 possible now. Railroad and road network. Armor forging. Okay, we'll try that. Especially when we're not at war, we're not fighting anybody. I want to focus on infrastructure. I'm an infrastructure first type person. Let's come down here. So tactical infrastructure, if you will, meaning basic doctrines. We'll do those first, get through some of them. Don't know if these are any more exclusive, mutually exclusive like they had been. We'll see. Okay, we've got barely one factor left. Let's start infantry unit training. Okay. Makes schoolwork easy. Okay, motorbike guy on lockdown gamer. Yeah, well, our lockdown here is quite honestly not as severe as some other places. As we were talking about earlier. definitely businesses, say like convention centers, are shut down. So there's no, um, concerts going on, big conventions or anything like that that would draw lots of people in close together. I am self-isolating under my own desire, probably more than is necessary, but I'm deciding that I'm a gamer. I don't have to go out. Yeah, I actually went out Thursday grocery shopping, but beyond that, I'm not going out. Really, my garage is not attached to my apartment, so yeah, I'll go out to that and whatnot, and I'll walk around the block actually a few times and get out a little bit, but I'm staying well away from other people and touching other things as much as possible, meaning I wore rubber gloves as well as a face mask to go to the grocery store here. But other than that, there's not a lot of real like shutdown here like there are in some states. I mean, some of the states they're doing more, and the beaches may be closed, but they close the beaches even just because there's too much pollution in the water here. So some of the stuff isn't civil liberties based. It's more of other stuff. Basically, because, and again, those are sort of business licenses, so they can close businesses because you have a business license to operate. So yeah, if they're really trying, and a lot of the restaurants, and when I went to shopping, one of the restaurant bars had a big sign out, margaritas, for either pickup or delivery. So if you're wanting enough margaritas, they'll deliver them to your house, mixed margaritas, or you can drive by and pick them up. So like coffee shops are closed, but if they can do like curbside delivery, and they probably want you to either phone or text in or walk up to a window or something and order the stuff. And so they are trying to do that as much as possible. So those and restaurants are trying to survive during that kind of thing. So it's that type of stuff. So actually, I would say, as it's gone down this last week, but in the previous weeks, I would say there was easily double the amount of sirens of different types I was hearing than normal. Definitely the gardeners are still paid in the apartment complex in the area, still gardening. And I would say during the day, more people out walking that I'm hearing, walking by and sort of saying hi to each other. And that's probably just because a lot of people aren't going to their works, but they're walking around the neighborhoods more, but not in large groups. So, yeah, it's in some ways similar. In some areas, it's as bad as in Britain in that the police are coming in and doing stuff. There's an interesting story in, I think it was either North or South Carolina, of, I don't know if he was an active duty chief petty officer or retired. He looked fairly old. He may have been a retired chief petty officer. He got in his full dress uniform, stuck a sign in there in the beach that says "Land of the Free" and walked into the ocean. And the law enforcement officers showed up to sort of arrest him and decided not to. And about 4 or 6 hours later, they opened the beach up. Because we have rights here in America that you don't have in Britain. So in Britain, they can, come in and enforce kinds of stuff like in Britain, because you don't have any rights in Britain where we do here. And yes, Michigan's mayor is violating the Constitution, clearly. So is New Jersey's and some others, and there will be repercussions. And my understanding is that our Attorney General is already looking at some of those repercussions that they're going to come after. And so, yeah, they're not allowed. Now there's a big difference between giving advice on what you should and shouldn't do. Hey, we don't think you should go out in public, and you don't. Okay, that's great, and I'm probably going to follow it. But once they try to enforce it and the police try to tell me, oh boy, that's bad. That is bad. Okay, superior strength. We're looking at here. Okay, we're going to let that continue. Even though we can now do a lot of other unit strengths if we wish to. All about mask. Our medical and science officers say are used. They used to say that too in America, but they've now stopped saying that. The non-medical ones are useful. They're useful, and this is, I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to tell you why they're useful. One way they're useful is that if you happen to be sick, but you don't know it yet, having a mask on means you don't project when you speak, droplets from your mouth. I'm not saying like actively trying to spit on somebody, but when you're talking, and I saw some films taken from the side of somebody talking with and without a mask, and just sort of the heat coming out of the mouth and how far it's going out. Having a mask on will keep you from spreading it as likely. And two, yes, it can still penetrate through a non-medical mask. So if you're one of these high-level stuff, so if you're actively working around, close with patients that you're taking care of that have the disease, those non-medical mask type things probably will do very little good. I mean, there's still maybe some good more than no good, but are not reliable protection, I would agree with. But just in general practice, and part of that general practice is wearing that mask reminds you, don't touch your fucking face. And so that is doing non-medical masks in that way will do good for yourself and protecting yourself from this. So whether it's the NIH or the which is the National Health Institute or whatever in America, or NHS in Britain or whatever, if they say not using a mask, they're wrong. Even if you don't have it, it could still help you by reminding you not to touch your face. So they're wrong. And so there's the higher end ones that are truly protecting you. If you're literally breathing the same breath, you have your patient that's in a coma, that you're cleaning them up, that you're touching them, all that kind of stuff. That's a different level of protection, and that I'm not arguing one way or another about, because I don't know, I'm not one of them, but I just know it does help. It does help on a general public, going out in public, going to a grocery store, touching things. It does help, and they're wrong to say it doesn't. One of the motivations I believe they were using that was so that people wouldn't compete in the marketplace trying to buy them up against the medical industry trying to get a hold of them. And so, yeah, and a pair of safety goggles and all that other stuff, and you need a lot more than that, all that kind of stuff if you're actively like close up and personal to a COVID patient. So even if you're at home, somebody's sick, they don't need to be in the hospital. The whole household isn't contaminated. Maybe you put them in one room. Maybe the person who goes in and helps take care of them drops food off, whatever. If they have 2 bathrooms in the house, they just use the one. Try to internally keep it from spreading. That would be, and that's maybe very hard, and I know a lot of places don't have 2 bathrooms and they have multiple people living there. So, and yes, you can try to clean up in between, different usage. Probably an impossible task, but you could still try. But so, but if you're in and around somebody close and personal, that is different than just, hey, we're at the same store at the same hour. They touched a few things on the shelf and I touched a few things on the shelf. And they may even be the same thing. Wearing gloves and having a mask and whatever may keep me from getting sick, even though I don't have it and they did. So, yes. Okay. Let's end this episode. We're not ending the live stream. We're going for another episode. But we're going to end this episode. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And I love hearing from you, so please post your questions, comments, tips. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.